Let me take just a little bit of a turn here and drill back down into what's happening in southern Lebanon, all right, because that's sort of the immediate issue that we're looking at. How long do you expect this incursion to go on for? Is there some sort of strategic, tactical objective? They want to push back beyond the Litani River. What is the objective here from your perspective? How long do you expect this to go on?
So the ultimate objective of the Israelis, as far as I understand it, talking to Israeli experts and the former generals and things of that, security officials, it seems the Israelis are intent on enforcing the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1701, which means Hezbollah should not be south of the Litani River. So that's an area that spans about anywhere from 15 to about 25 miles of southern Lebanon. The Lebanese military won't do it. The UN security forces there, peacekeeping forces won't do it. So the Israelis want to do this. Now, if they are serious about enforcing that fully, they're going to have to commit several divisions of troops to do this. And that means we would be talking about an operation of several months. It's unclear. What I suspect the Israelis are doing right now is sending a small force in and probing Hezbollah's response. Its leadership has essentially been decapitated and is in disarray. Its communication system is compromised and in complete disarray.
Yeah.
Thousands of its fighters were wounded in those radio and pager attacks from a week and a half ago. So how is Hezbollah able to respond to this? This is what I think the Israelis are going to probe and to see if they sense that. This is my estimation.
Mm-hmm.
If the Israelis sense that Hezbollah is not putting up meaningful resistance, it may attempt to push Hezbollah all the way back to the Litani, but this would take several months. It won't be days or even weeks as we may be hearing from Israeli officials now.
Right.
So it really ultimately depends on the ultimate objective. The Israelis may be hoping that Hezbollah, cries uncle. So that might be part of the probing attacks as well. The operations that the Israelis have carried out over the last month plus, killing Fuad Shakur the same day, who was a top Hezbollah military leader, along with Ismail Haniyeh, who was the head of Hamas, in Tehran, Iran of all places, the day of the coronation of the new Iranian president. And follow that up with the pager attack, that wounded thousands of Hezbollah fighters. And no doubt the Israelis were monitoring those communications for a long period of time. The radios, all of that. Yeah. I think the Israelis have been building an attempt to really put the pressure on Hezbollah to cry uncle here and get them to withdraw and end the fighting. That's what I hope that's not the case. I hope the Israelis do decide to take the fight to Hezbollah. It needs to. I just keep looking at the bigger picture. That noose is tightening on Israel.
Yeah, two questions to follow that up with, Bill. One of them, you've talked about this, and what you're kind of referring to with the pagers and the communications, problems that they now face. Look, there's a paralysis, right, that I think is now pervading Hezbollah and frankly Hamas and the Iranian regime, all of their elements, because they don't know to what degree they've been penetrated, right, by the Israeli intelligence services, right? Because those operations, the pager operation, the handheld radio operation, the targeting of Fuad, the targeting of Haniyeh, going after Nasrallah, all of those things took time, right? They didn't just happen overnight. There was years of work involved in developing sources and understanding the nature of Hezbollah and the Iranian regime even, and how they operate within the IRGC. So I think there's a paralysis there, and then the communications issue, if you can't trust your comms, that's a problem. So I think they really are at a point where I don't know that they're ever going to have this opportunity again. And with the Iranian regime attacking them directly, you could argue that a retaliatory, move by the Israelis would be something that would make sense, right? Would be a sort of a real crushing blow against the regime's infrastructure. Right? Not against the people of Iran, but against the regime's infrastructure and the IRGC. And whether that means going after their nuclear facilities, whether it means going in a big way after their oil industry, all of that is up for grabs right now. We don't know, and we'd be speculating. and I apologize because I got lost in a rabbit hole, which I do sometimes, Bill.
I'm guilty of it as well, as you can tell.
My question, my question for you was, for people who don't follow this a lot, you mentioned briefly, you touched on, look, the Lebanese military is not going to do it. Can you talk just briefly? We don't have a lot of time left. Could you talk briefly about the relationship between the Lebanese military and Hezbollah?
Yeah, so the U.S. funds the Lebanese military, but it's compromised. It's been compromised by, like, there are believed to be Hezbollah members within it, and it's weak. So Hezbollah is the largest military force inside of Lebanon, and it's not the official army. So even if the Lebanese military had the will to go up against Hezbollah, it doesn't have the capability to do so. It doesn't have the experience. Hezbollah is hardened by fighting in Syria, by fighting in Iraq against U.S. forces, by fighting in Lebanon, by fighting against the Israelis. It's a very sophisticated military organization. It's the most sophisticated in Lebanon. And so, again, I believe it to be compromised. It's weak at best, compromised by Hezbollah at worst. It is the Lebanese military is not the solution here. It's part of the problem.
And is there a scenario you see, right, where Hezbollah's influence and structure just collapses and the Lebanese people, either don't care or are happy about it? But what fills that vacuum without Hezbollah?
So there are rival factions sectarian factions within Lebanon. Amal is a rival Shia faction. And then there's, the Druzi, and there's other Christians and other groups. The problem is that, like, and what we saw after the death of Hassan Nasrallah is that, and who killed some of the leaders of these groups, they came out in praise of him and eulogized them. So the Lebanese people, again, I don't think they're the solution here either, unless Hezbollah is so weakened militarily and devoid of leadership. It is possible that some of these groups may rise up against Hezbollah, but I wouldn't bank on this. The Lebanese seem to want everyone else to die for their country.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment, a really positive, nice, and kind comment. That would be appreciated. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our daily updates.